Hey everyone, it's Jeremy with Quiet Mind Yoga, and this is day 6 of our Healthy Hips and Hamstrings program. And on these weekend days, you can do this anytime you want, but these days 6 and 7 of the weeks are going to be focused on more restorative and yin postures, giving us some time to integrate and assimilate and process the things that are the changes, the strengthening, the lengthening that's happening in our bodies. So we're not overdoing it, and we're still doing our practice, so we're in that habit and routine, but we're also having the rest as much as we're having the exertion and the growth. So today, we're going to focus on the inner and outer hips in some simple restorative postures. You'll need a wall space for this. So start over on the wall with your feet facing the wall. You'll have the knees bent as if you're like sitting in a chair, so your legs are 90 degrees, feet on the wall. And then you start to scoot your hips in closer to the wall, so your feet can come together, soles of the feet together, and then knees apart. And in here, your hands can be supporting the knees. Your spine is long, so walk your shoulders a bit away from the hips, getting some length through the back. And the emphasis here is on lengthening the adductors, the inner thighs. And again, you can use your hands to support that. You can intensify this by scooting your feet further down the wall towards your pelvis. And you can decrease the intensity by using more support with the hands and scooting the feet up the wall. So find a good spot to stay for a little while. In these yin postures and these restorative postures will hold a lot longer. So give the body some time and really the patience and the sense of safety that the body needs to lengthen muscle fibers, to release tension. So the most important thing here, more than anything else, is the breath. So taking mindful, slower breaths than you maybe have been today. Sending the signal to the brain and to the body that you can start to release these layers of tension that you might still be holding on to in the inner thighs. Right, so this is a yin practice, so the intention is to do less. But if you already have very open adductors and inner thighs, and you can easily open the knees wide apart, almost to touch the wall even, if you've got that range of motion, you can focus a little bit more on strengthening here by resisting the hands. So you press the hands against the inner thighs and use the adductors to slightly squeeze towards the center. You may even find it nice to do alternations of that. So you squeeze for a little bit and then you let it go and let the legs lengthen. All right, so first option, you just hold in the posture, letting the adductors lengthen. Second option, you strengthen a little more by pressing against the hands. And third option, you do pulses, varying the time of resisting the hands and then just letting the legs lengthen. Generally, as what I would say for most people, the third option might be the best, just so we're not overstretching or over strengthening the tissue. We're having it be able to be flexible and strong as we need it. All right, we've still got a couple minutes here, so if your mind starts to wander, that's okay, that's normal. Just keep bringing your attention back to your breath and the sensation in your body. It's very challenging to be focused on sensations and thinking at the same time. Last couple breaths in this position. It's just 4 poses today, so if you like one of them a lot, if you feel like your body really needs to stay in a pose longer, please do. And you can also basically just extend this practice by holding poses as long as you like. But when you're ready, you'll start to move the knees back towards the center and scoot your hips away from the wall. So you're back towards that 90-degree angle, sliding the body away, and then knees are bent at about 90 degrees. And then take the feet wider apart. So if you know like malasana, like that kind of width, about shoulder width apart with the feet, and the knees and toes point in the same direction. And then the hands press into the thighs, and the legs press into the ground. So against the hands and opening. So the adductors are opening, lengthening, and strengthening at the same time here. The feet aren't too active. Most of the sensation is in your inner thighs. There is an energetic pushing down through the feet and pushing down towards the ground against the hands. And the hands are kind of stopping the legs from going any further so that the engagement stays in the adductors. So that's more of the strengthening version of this. If you want more lengthening of this, start to scoot your feet just a little bit further down so you feel there is definitely a stretch on the inner thighs. The hands don't need to do anything, and they can just rest beside you. It's sort of like a supported happy baby pose. The low back, the spine is just resting on the ground, not doing anything special. And then you have a third option here of doing the pulses again. Same idea this time, you kind of rest your hands inside the thighs and resist that more around the knee rather than the inner thigh. And then your legs stay there, but they contract towards the center. Your glutes will contract a little bit. You'll feel this in the low back as the legs try to move towards the center, but they don't physically move. And then you can let that go and feel the stretch and the lengthening again. And you can pulse like that a few times. Or you can just hold, engaging a lot, or stretching a lot, or pulses. Any of those variations is good. Last couple breaths here. And start to scoot your feet back towards the center, more towards 90 degrees. And we'll cross the right ankle over the left thigh. And supported pigeon pose variation. Right? And you might just say just like this. So you're sort of a figure four shape. And if you want to increase the intensity, you can slide the hips a little bit closer to the wall. Right? And the closer in that your hips go, the deeper the stretch is going to be in the outer right hip. All right, so that's stretching. If you want a little more strengthening, put your right hand behind the right thigh, and with your hand slightly pull in, and with your outer hip press against that. And you can also pulse like that, or you can just hold one of the versions, either stretching or strengthening. If the sensation becomes too much, you can always decrease the intensity by scooting your hips away from the wall. Last couple of breaths on this side. And then we'll start to scoot the hips away to take some of the intensity out of the pose. And then switch legs. Right leg, right foot to the wall. Left ankle crosses over right knee. If your hips just went up really high and stayed there, creating a rounding in your back, then you're in too close. So you want to scoot back from that so you're able to lower your back to the ground. And if your left knee is coming really close into the body, right, again, you can decrease the intensity by scooting back. So you can start to move that left knee more in line with the right knee. And you can use your hand to guide it in that direction, not force, not pushing, but guiding in that direction. Same options, just holding here, more of a stretch in the outer hip. You can intensify by scooting your hips closer to the wall. If your low back lifts, your knee comes in, it's too much. Just make sure you can maintain the alignment first, and then the intensity will come over time. Right? There's no rush to get there. This is a lifelong practice. If you want stretching, stay there. If you want more strengthening, use your hand behind the thigh to resist and create a tension of opposites, hand pulling in, thigh pushing out, or pulses. Push and contract for a moment and then hold and stretch for a moment. Just listening to your body, what feels right, what does your body need? Do your outer hips need more strengthening or more lengthening? Or maybe more balance of the two? Once you're settled into the pose, back attention back to the breath and the sensation in the body. If your mind starts to wander, you can adjust maybe to increase the intensity by scooting the hips in. As we stay longer, we create the sense of safety with our breath and our attention. The body will start to open more and more. And then we've got to increase the intensity and engagement to match that so that our mind, our body, our breath, everything's fully engaged. Even when we're totally relaxed. Well, relaxed internally, at least. Maybe your outer hip is not very relaxed right now. But it's getting there. Just practice. And last couple of breaths here. And release the left foot to the wall. And walk the heels. Press the heels against the wall, lengthening the legs. Lift your right foot off the wall. Lifting your left hip, lifting your hips a little bit. And just kind of like you're walking on air. Right heel to the wall, left foot lifts. We'll focus more on the backs and fronts of the legs tomorrow. But for now, just kind of letting the legs straighten out. They've been bent for a while. And hug the knees in, rock side to side. If you have longer to practice any of that, please do. Otherwise, come on over to one side and back up to sitting. Bringing the hands together in front of the heart, bowing the mind to the heart. Thank you for sharing your practice today. Namaste. Hey, I hope you're enjoying this series. It's been a lot of fun for me to put it together and really refine what I know about the hips and hamstrings in myself and my own practice, and then really get to share that with you. It's making me a better teacher and really deepening my own practice. So if you're getting something out of it, please leave a comment below. Let me know how your experience is going, and you can like this video and subscribe. And hope to see you tomorrow and in several days to come. I'm looking forward to making more of these videos. All right.